Greetings and welcome to the Midlife Lab. I've recently developed an interest in rework and repair of modern equipment using surface mount devices, primarily through watching Lewis Rossman's repair videos. And a question that often gets asked in his streams is, how do I get started? To which his tautomeric reply is, if you want to get started, then just get started, do it. Not exactly helpful perhaps, but given as he's no idea on the abilities or experience of the person asking the question, I suppose it's not surprising. So rather than try and answer somebody's question telling them what they should do, I thought I'd do a video or two showing exactly what I'm doing to get into the position to be able to perform repair on modern devices. I hope this will be of interest to some of you, and I hope it will be of help. So let's get started. Right, equipment. I've been dabbling in electronics for quite some time, so I've got most of the basic stuff I need: soldering and desoldering kit, screwdrivers, cutters, meters, spudgers, all the basic stuff, so I'm fairly well set there. But if you have come along with this video hoping that I'm going to be showing you the things to buy, the basic things to buy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link to a video below by an accomplished repair technician called The Coder. And he did a video on getting a budget set up for starting doing repair. He covers all the bits you need. He shows you the stuff in action, so it all does work. So yeah, down below, a link to The Coder. But for me, I'm really looking at the things that I need to buy to be able to get into SMD Rework. So, first off, the hot air. And for that, I decided to go with the Atom ST862D. I know it's not the cheapest of hot air stations, but it does have the advantage of good output. It's a 1000-watt unit, as against many of the cheaper units are only 5, 6, perhaps 700 watts. Very good control over the airflow using an internal pump. And one feature I like is the nozzles are not screwed on. They are a push fit. There are set of little spring clips around, so it's very easy to change nozzles. Indeed, if you want to do that while it's hot, on the stand they do provide a little Ujima flip that you can use to get your nozzle into and just yank it off. Very useful if you've got a hot nozzle who misses. The reason I chose to go with the Atom is I'm intending to work on boards that have significant heat capacity. Games consoles like PlayStation and Xbox, laptop or desktop motherboards, possibly even graphics cards. So I wanted a unit that could put a lot of heat into a board. You could still work on these boards using some of the smaller units, but the likelihood is it's going to take longer and might get a little more frustrating. So because I'd be working with heat-hungry boards, I decided to go for a unit with higher output. Now, even with my dodgy eyesight, I can do a fair amount of work on a board like this. But there are certain things where eyesight just gives out on me, particularly when working with smaller packages like the QFN chips and so on. So I decided some magnification is definitely a plus. To start, you may be able to get by with like a desk-mounted magnifier with a lead ring around it. But I decided I wanted something a bit more robust. I've used microscopes quite a bit in my previous career and didn't feel that I wanted to be in a position of spending a lot of time peering down a microscope to do repair work. Plus, I've always wanted an inspection microscope for checking out all sorts of things, not just doing SMD rework. I saw a setup like this on EV blog when Dave was looking at inspection cameras, looking at USB ones, HDMI ones, and just comparing them to see how useful they could be. And this one actually looked like it would be ideal for me. Magnifications are good. It's got plenty of working distance, as you can see. And being autofocus, it means as you change the magnification, it does keep track for you. With this working distance, the upper magnification is limited, but can easily be dropped down for higher magnifications. But this gives me plenty for doing work on QFNs and the like. If I really want to, you can get in much closer and much more detailed. Again, this is quite an expensive setup, but if you do look at the coder's video on the budget kit, he does show a very reasonable little microscope for getting started. I know that the choice of whether to use a microscope or an inspection camera like this is very much a personal choice, but I find working on the board while looking at the screen, the hand-eye coordination comes naturally, and it actually feels very comfortable, very relaxed, and I can work for extended periods of time and I don't feel any stress. So this setup really works for me. Another thing you might want to consider is fume extraction. As I've been at this for some time, I do have a vented fume extraction system. But if you're just starting and just want something to keep the worst of the fume away from you, you can get these desktop units. You can pick them up pretty cheaply, and they do draw the air away from you and keep the worst of the solder fume getting into your face. Just makes the working experience a little more pleasant, especially with modern fluxes, which, unlike the old rosin ones, which smell quite pleasant, can be quite harsh and chemical. So yes, you might want to consider getting something like this just to keep your work area a bit clearer. So yes, that's the additions to my equipment for getting into SMD Rework and Repair. But the equipment is only one side, the other side is the technique. So in the next video or two, what I will do is I'll show you what I've decided to do, or how I've gone about preparing myself and training myself for doing this sort of work. Working with hot air is quite a bit different to working with a traditional iron, and it can take a little while just to get into the techniques. So if you're interested in what I might be getting up to, just click subscribe and hit the bell icon. You'll get notified when I put out a new video. And if this has been useful to you, if you could just give it a quick like. And I shall see you soon. Bye now.